You cannot ask to be patient, you know, they want to see the team winning, that's the passion, that's football, and it should be like that, no other way. We can have a lot of excuses, that's not going to help us at all.
Yeah, I thought that was a remarkable piece of touchline interviewing after the game from Mikel Arteta. And we'll talk about him in about 10 minutes' time. Interesting that he should say we can have no excuses when he then proceeded. And Des will know this modus operandi to trot out his list of excuses. But first of all, the game itself, Arsenal, torn to pieces early on by Romelu Lukaku. What a footballer he is. How he just goes to show how people can keep improving right into the latter years of their 20s. Headlines from yesterday and today's newspapers. Looks like trouble, LUKS. Rom's rapid strike sends warning to title rivals and sends Arsenal into 19th place. Darren Lewis, of course, great friend of this show, in the Daily Mirror. Lethal Romelu Lukaku puts fear into sorry Arsenal. Henry Winter, great friend of this show, in the Times. Fans turn on Arsenal after dismal start. Mikel Arteta can no longer plead poverty. He's running out of time to prove his credentials. Matt Law is also a great friend of the show. They're all on it here. And the Telegraph. And look and listen. Deluded boss Mikel thanks booing fans. Superb Lukaku hails his dominant debut. Andrew Dillon in the Sun. I think we should start with the winners in this case, first and foremost, because a lot of the coverage afterwards, and I guess it's inevitable, Shaun, was about Arsenal, who happened to have lost 2 games at the start of the season. But first of all, I don't think there's any exaggeration in those pieces suggesting that Chelsea might be title contenders, not least because Lukaku is just such a transformed footballer from the player that left there for West Bromwich Albion all those years ago.
Yeah, he is, and we've seen that progression. I know he had a bit of a difficult time at times at Manchester United, but he still looked a beast of a striker. And when he went to Italy, he just proved what he's all about. And every time we've seen him play for Belgium, what a superstar striker. So him coming back to Chelsea looked like the icing on the cake, didn't it? I mean, it seems ridiculous when the European champions, you go, well, they need a striker, you know, otherwise where would they be? Well, the European champions, and now putting him in the middle of there, it's just completed the job. And I actually look forward to watching Chelsea. I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I really look forward to seeing them. And the thing about this game was utterly predictable. I think we all knew what would happen. I think we were pretty sure that Chelsea would run out winners, and no surprise that Lukaku scored. There was a headline in one of the papers this morning saying Lukaku silences the doubters. I don't remember there being any doubters about Chelsea signing Lukaku. He's just the perfect fit for this Chelsea team now, and stopping them's going to be next to impossible. I really do feel they're the complete unit now.
Yeah, I agree.
His fantastic goal at the start of the game, where if you'd written down on a piece of paper how you imagined Lukaku's debut would go, he shields the ball, he turns, he goes for the penalty area. Des, I'm not sure if you were at the game or no, right? Well, you saw what happened. First of all, can we congratulate Pablo Mari on the first ever defensive dive that I can remember. Extraordinary effort to get the game pulled up. Mate, use as much imagination and and energy in getting goal side of your man. It might work out better. You've seen Chelsea close up a lot of times, Des, in the last few months. And the addition of Lukaku, and maybe they'll go for Koundé as well. We'll see. But addition of Lukaku, I thought nobody would finish within 8 or 9 points of Manchester City this year, but certainly Chelsea now look the real deal, don't they?
No, they're complete. I mean, yes, as Shaun says, the champions of Europe have added striker. It couldn't have been a kinder introduction. I mean, maybe the Norwich defence would have been up there with them, but it felt as if an adult footballer had been thrown in an under-12s game when I was watching Lukaku terrorising the Arsenal defence. I mean, he was just ready. He's leaner now. He's technically better. He never used to like to play with his back to goal. That's changed over his time in Italy. He's a much better player, and you can see he's got something burning inside him. He really wants to prove himself.
He was frustrated when he was at United. They didn't appreciate him.
A lot of players were.
No, but when you interviewed him, did you get that sense of frustration? Could you feel it in him?
He's talking differently now. Mm-hmm. It was him trying to justify himself in the past. Now he's telling people what he's going to do, why he's going to do it. He looks really on it for every level, mentally, physically, and he's got a team that will buzz around him at 100 miles an hour, And they look good.
It must be amazing, mustn't it, when you're £97.5 million straight? There's a lot of pressure on you, but you look at that team and think, I can't fail here. It's almost like it's going to be brilliant.
Because their only failing was they would miss loads of chances. They'd create them, but
we'll
now...
get on to this, I know, but it's the same for Harry Kane, isn't it? He must be like, if I could just stand in the middle for that team up in Manchester, I'd get loads of goals.
Is that what this week's version of what you think Harry Kane is thinking? Sure.
That's Shaun's tactics board. That is Shaun's tactics. That's a new item. That's a new item on the show. Shaun's tactics board.
Can I just say as well that, and we'll get on to Arsenal next. I'm sure Arsenal fans may want to turn the radio down for 15 minutes. At least we'll get on to Mikel Arteta. Reece James. England are ridiculously blessed in the right-sided defence, right-sided wing-backs, whatever you want to call them, department. And I know Trent Alexander-Arnold is a great player, and Kyle Walker is a great player. But Reece James, I'd liked him from the first moment I saw him, and the way he slapped that goal in. That you know when you see footballers where the first action is almost without thinking, and it just rocketed into the net. Really good start by Chelsea. Less so, I think it's fair to say, for Arsenal, and we'll talk about them next here on the press box, particularly their manager, Mikel Arteta, who actually is a little bit more like Prickle Arteta these days. He doesn't go well with the questioning at the side of the pitch. Coming up in about half an hour as well here on the press box on talkSPORT, we'll look in depth at complaints from Jurgen Klopp and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that the game has become, don't laugh, too physical. You're listening to the press box.